Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 5th October today, and in this video we are going to derive important questions with respect to prelims from these important articles which are given here. If you are the first time visitor of this channel, then let me introduce this initiative to you guys. Every day in this video we discuss three types of questions. The first set of questions which we discuss here are taken from the current affairs topics. We take the most important articles which are in the newspaper, we break them down, we derive prelims based questions from those articles so that it will give you the idea how the questions could be framed from the current affairs topics with respect to your prelims. So it will brief you about your prelims preparation. It will give you the idea how you should study the news articles with respect to prelims preparation. And also we take up those questions. It will give you the idea what was in the newspaper and also give you enough information which you need to have with respect to your prelims preparation. The another set of questions which we discuss here is from the static topic. Every day we had started to discuss the static topics here, and we had started with the Indian polity. And in Indian polity we had reached to the fundamental rights, and in the fundamental rights we have to discuss today Article 13, and also in that Article 13 we have discussed the doctrine of eclipse. So we will discuss this and derive a prelims based question from this article and give you the idea how the question could be framed from the static portion also. After we will discuss these important questions with respect to the current affairs topics and the static topic, we will shift towards the previous year questions, the last portion of this video. We will discuss the previous year questions. We will try to find out what can be the ways and methods by which you can solve these questions, and also how to implement this information in your next exam. So this is all about this initiative. I hope you would like it. I hope you would share it with your friends. If you are watching this video and you had watched it till now, I would like to request you guys, please do watch the video till the end. It may seem sometimes it is boring, but trust me, the information in it is very essential for you to crack your prelims exam. So if you want to crack your prelims exam and you want to clear all your doubts, all the necessities that you should have, then do watch the full video. It will definitely help you in some way to reach to your goal. So do watch the full video. And also I would like to request you guys, if you are watching this video, don't skip any question. When we will discuss the questions here, do write them on your notebook or in your notebook, or at least take the screenshot of those questions, so that when the exams would be near and you would want to revise the current affairs, at that time it gets very hectic to revise the current affairs, because you have to look at the different materials. You have to look for the vast materials. You have to go for magazines, you will go for different magazines of different institutions, but at that time you need a very well defined approach for that. If you will have these questions with you, you will just read out these questions, you will revise these questions. These questions would definitely connect you with the current affairs as well. It will boost your confidence before entering the exam hall, so it will help you in reaching to your goal. So please do note down these questions, or at least take the screenshot of these questions. With this, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel, share it with your friends, and do like the video, and also do write in the comments what else should we bring for you, so that we can help you in the best way possible. Now without any delay, let's have a look at the topics from where we had taken today's quiz, from where we had taken today's questions, just to get the glimpse of these articles, just to get the basic idea, the context behind the questions which we are going to discuss here. The first important article, it is about the Kerala. As we had seen, there were landslides recently in Wayanad. So this article, it gives a different approach to the government of Kerala. It says that Kerala, there is a need that they should identify the landslide zones. They should identify those risky zones in their state, so that whenever any risk would seem to come near, they would mitigate, they would evacuate people from there, and that can lead to the less loss of life and less destruction of the property. So this is the whole gist of this article. In this article we had seen two important terms. One was the landslide atlas of India. It has been brought, we should know that it has been brought out by ISRO. They had used this satellites to discover the areas in overall in our country, so that it gives us the basic idea what is the nature of the land in a particular state in our country. This is the one atlas, which is landslide atlas of India. It has been brought out by ISRO. And another thing which was discussed in the article is about the geological survey of India, as they had brought out the national landslide susceptibility mapping, NLSP. They had brought out this. We should know that. You may be asked in the exam who had brought out national landslide susceptibility mapping. We should know it is the geological survey of India. It is relying of geological. It relies on the geological evidence. In the landslide atlas of India, it relies on the technology use of satellites. So these are important points which we should know about this. And also we should know one more thing with respect to Kerala. If we will divide the geographical zones in Kerala, it could be majorly divided into three zones. One is the coastal plains. It has a coastal plain near bordering, we can say, bordering Arabian Sea. Then we have Western Ghats there, and also wetlands and water bodies. And we had seen the impact of man on these particular areas, and that is also one of the reasons why there are increasing natural disasters in this particular area. And also one more important point with respect to Kerala, which we need to know, that earlier it was there were natural disasters there, but they were very much limited. If we will go back to 50 years, but from last 10 to 20 or 30 years, the trend has changed. Kerala has seen many natural disasters, and the main reason which has led to these disasters is the man-made effects. So this is all about this article, what was written in it. So with respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question in the next slide and give you the basic idea, the gist of this article. Then the another article which was in the news is the caste system in jail. First of we should know that about the prisons, what under which list they do come. They do come into the state list. So it is the mandate of the states to manage these prisons. So in the prisons there is a very disrespectful thing happening there. We had seen a caste hierarchy there. When any person is jailed, so in the jail they don't sit still. They have to do some work. Either they will go for the cooking, they will go for the cleaning, they will do dusting, or what else works there they have to do. So what the trend has been seen in Indian jails is that those people who belong to the lower caste, they are forced to go for the sweeping and all that stuff which is related to cleaning. So there is there is significant amount of caste system in the jails, and it has been criticized by the Supreme Court also. Also in the Supreme Court, Supreme Court categorically said that caste-based discrimination in jails is unconstitutional, but unfortunately it has been found in our jails. So with respect to jails, what we need to know, what is important thing we should know, that the prison management, it comes under the state list. It is the state subject. So the issues with our jail, it should be managed by the states. But the issues with our jails are they are overcrowded. They are highly overcrowded. We have lack of jails in our country, and the prisoners are booming. One of the major reason for that is the denying of bail from the Supreme Court, from the courts. As Supreme Court Chief Justice of India said once that the bail should be the norm, jail should be exceptional. But here, unfortunately, the judges are denying the bails. There are a huge number of under trials in our country. So because of that, that has led to the overcrowding of the jails. So there is a prime time that the government of India should look into this matter and solve these issues. So this was the basic idea about this article, and I hope you had got the basic idea about it. With respect to this, let's move to the other article which was in the news, is about the northeast monsoon. Why we had brought this article here? Because of the incredible prediction from the IMD. They had incredibly predicted it, and in this article what the author tries to say that there more should be, even though IMD has predicted it incredibly, but more concentration should be given to the northeast monsoons, because they are very much retreating. It starts from the month of October to December. So in India, we give least concentration to this northeast monsoon. So according to author, we should, this northeast monsoon is very much important for our agrarian states, especially in Tamil Nadu and coastal Andhra Pradesh. So it becomes very much important, and according to author, there should be more sufficient research should be done on it, and this prediction should be more precise, even though it upholds the predictions which were given by the IMD with respect to the northeast monsoons. So this was in a nutshell what was in the article, and with respect to northeast monsoon, we will solve a prelims based question in the next slide and get more idea about it. Then the another article, it was about the counter-insurgency operations in Chhattisgarh. As we had seen, 28 Naxalites were killed there. As Indian security has shown its efficiency there. From the last few months, in the last month itself, almost 159 people were 159 Naxalites were killed. So it shows how Indian security has groomed itself, and they are very much able to curb the Naxalites in this particular area, and the time would come very soon when Naxalites would be totally removed from this area. So this is about this article. In this article, there were given some particular districts which we should know, which become important for our prelims exam. Then the another article which was in the news is about the Jaishankar's visit to Pakistan for SCO summit. From 2015-16 itself, we had boycotted Pakistan because of the Uri attacks. At that time we have that SAARC summit, and we did not join it. That SAARC has become insignificant because of that, because India and Pakistan are not collaborating in it. But our bilateral relationships had almost ended. As SCO is a multilateral summit, and it is very much important for India to be the part of it, to show the world how how impactful India is in the globe, to show its leadership skills. So it is not good for India to skip this summit. That is the reason India's external affairs minister Jaishankar is visiting Pakistan for the summit. There won't be any bilateral summit. We also know that in the last year, when the Pakistan's external minister came India, there were no separate bilateral meetings between India and Pakistan, but this summit was held very successfully. So this is in a nutshell about this visit, about the news. About SCO, we will discuss in the next slide a question about it and get more idea about it. Then the another article which is relevant for your preparation is this India-US relation. Why we had taken, usually we take India-US relations, we had taken many times, but here it has become important because India and USA has signed a bilateral agreement on critical minerals, and after Australia, it is the first country India has signed this bilateral agreement, and with none other country India has signed this bilateral agreement with respect to the critical minerals. So it becomes very much important for us to know that. After that, there was a news about the PM Kisan, as it is about its next installment funds. So we should know that about PM Kisan, it is a center sectoral scheme. It is 100% funded from the center, and in its 6,000 in cash is provided to the farmers, to the Kisan, in 3 equal installments. So this is in nutshell about PM Kisan, and with respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question. There is direct benefit transfer in it. We will discuss that in the question and get more idea about it. Then the last article is about the WHO has approved its first monkeypox diagnostic tool. So it becomes very much important for us. What is this diagnostic tool and what is this monkeypox? We will solve that with respect to a question in the next slides. And after these are the articles which were with respect to the current affairs. After that, we will shift our approach to the static portion, where we will discuss the first, that is doctrine of eclipse and article 13, and with respect to that we will solve a question, and finally we will move to the last part of this video, that is the previous year questions. So With this, I hope you had got the basic idea what is in the news, what is in the news today, what is important in the news today with respect to your preparation. With this, let us try to solve questions one by one and get more idea about it. Here, the first question is very direct question. It says landslides atlas of India has been brought out by which of the following organizations? We discussed it. We discussed it with respect to Kerala, as there are landslides, as they need to identify those risky zones. So with respect to that, we discussed the landslide atlas of India, and we also discussed who had brought it. Now let's try to remember how much you have remembered from that discussion. Is it Geological Survey of India? No. Is it Ministry of Environment? No. Is it Ministry of Home Affairs? No. Is it ISRO? 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is option C. With this, I hope you had understood the topic and you had got the basic gist what the question can be asked from this article. With this, let's move to the another article, another question in the next slide. Here the question says, prison management comes in which list under the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution? Why we had taken this question? Because we had seen that there is huge caste system happening in our prisons. People are the prisoners are highly discriminated there. So with respect to this, we should know that prison management, in which list does it come under the 7th schedule? Does it come under the union list? No. Does it come under concurrent list? No. Is it under the residuary powers? No. Then it does come under the state list. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. With this, I hope you had understood the topic and also the question here. Now let's move to the third question. It is about the northeast monsoon in India. It says, which of the following statements about the northeast monsoon in India are correct? The first statement, it says, the northeast monsoon occurs primarily between October and December. 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. Second, it predominantly affects the southeastern coastal regions of India, including Tamil Nadu and coastal Andhra Pradesh. 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. Third, it is primarily caused by the retreat of southwest monsoon winds. It is primarily incorrect. Somehow it is the part of it, but primarily it is not caused because of it. Here is the explanation. It says the northeast monsoon is primarily influenced by the shift of winds and the presence of high pressure areas over the land mass, rather than being directly caused by the retreat of the southwest monsoon. So this is the explanation of the statement 3. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option A. With this, let's move to the another question on the next slide. It is about these particular areas given in the news. Bijapur, Bastar and Dantewada, recently seen in news, are located in which Indian state? Is it Bihar? No. Is it Maharashtra? No. Is it Orissa? No. Is it Chhattisgarh? 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option D. With this, let's move to the another question. It talks about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Let us see what does it say. Which of the following statements regarding the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are correct? The first statement. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization was established in 2001 and focuses on political, economical and military cooperation. Correct. It was actually brought way before 2001, but this name was given to it in 2001. So we can in a way say that it was established in 2001. Statement 2. India and Pakistan became full members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2017. 100% correct. And the third statement. The organization has its headquarters in Beijing, China. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 3. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, let's move to the another. It says India has recently signed a bilateral agreement on critical minerals with which country? Is it South Africa? No, we discussed it. Is it Japan? No. Is it Brazil? No. Is it USA? 100% correct. India signed this bilateral agreement on critical minerals with USA. So with this, let's move to the another question. Let's try to solve it. It is about the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, PM Kisan. It says, which of the following statements regarding the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi are correct? The first statement, the scheme provides direct cash transfer to farmers to support their income. 100% correct. Second statement, only small and marginal farmers are eligible for the benefit under the scheme. Not only small but all farmers, so it becomes incorrect. Third statement, the financial assistance provided under PM scheme is 6,000 per year per eligible farmer. 100% Correct. There is eligibility criteria, but it is not totally directed towards the small and marginal farmers. So second statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are option 1 and option 3. With this, we had completed today's discussion with respect to the current affairs topics. Now let us shift towards the static topic, which is the doctrine of eclipse. Here we have to start with the Article 13. As you know, we are studying the fundamental rights. We had discussed what the state is in it. We discussed Article 12 very well in it, how Article 12 defines what state is, what does it contain. For example, it contains the government and the Parliament of India, the government and the legislature of each of the state, and all local or other authorities within the territory of India or under the control of the government of India. In the yesterday's class, we discussed what Article 12 talks about, and also in that class we put some light on the Article 13. So in this class, let's try to understand what this Article 13 is. For example, as we know that when our constitution was brought in, before that there were early constitutional laws, pre-constitutional laws. We follow different customs, we follow different religious laws, we follow different cultural laws. Now what does this Article 13 say? Suppose if any pre-constitutional law or any cultural law, any custom, any audience, any order made by any executive, if that order, whether pre-constitutional or after constitution, if it contradicts with the fundamental rights, if that order contradicts with the fundamental rights, then that order, which was pre-constitutional or post-constitutional, that becomes void. What does that void mean? That means that that order will stay in the books. Now that won't go anywhere. That will stay in the books, but they will lose that those orders, those laws will lose their legitimacy. They won't be active. They would be in the dormant state. And also, so this Article 13 gives rise to the concept of doctrine of eclipse. So what is this doctrine of eclipse? If any pre-constitutional or post-constitutional or any custom or religious law that is contradicting with the fundamental rights, that law becomes void, that law comes under the eclipse, that stays in the statute books, but that law stays in the statute books. That law is not removed, but that law becomes void, that law becomes in the dormant state, that law becomes inactive. But once those once those things which were dormant, which were against the fundamental rights, when those things are removed or fundamental rights are amended, and when these laws come in consistence with the fundamental rights, then those laws live again, they come back. That is the concept of doctrine of eclipse. When they are anti-fundamental rights or against fundamental rights, those laws become void, they come under the eclipse. But once those laws are consistent with the fundamental rights, due to reasons can be any, either fundamental rights are amended or that portion of the law has been removed which are contradicted with the fundamental right, then that law again lives, that law again comes into the existence. So this is the basic concept about the doctrine of eclipse. So with respect to this, I hope you had understood the Article 13 very well. You had understood the concept of doctrine of eclipse. So with this, let's move to the another slide and solve a prelims based question on this article. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the doctrine of eclipse in the Indian Constitution are correct? The first statement: the doctrine of eclipse applies to laws that are inconsistent with the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. 100% correct. Second, a law that is eclipsed by the fundamental rights can be revived if the inconsistency is removed. 100% correct. Third, the doctrine of eclipse is applicable only to laws enacted after the Constitution came into force. It is totally incorrect. It is applicable to laws before the Constitution came to existence or post-constitutional laws. In fact, every law which contradicts with the fundamental rights, even though then the next concepts came in, whether they should contradict with, if the directive principle will contradict with the fundamental rights, what should be the status of that law, that we will discuss. That is a separate discussion. But here the basic concept is, if any law contradicts with the fundamental right, whether it is pre-constitutional or post-constitutional, it becomes void. So this is the concept of doctrine of eclipse. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option A. So with this, I hope you had understood the current affairs topics, you had understood the static portion also. Now let's shift towards the last year questions. Here the first question is, the president of Indian National Congress at the time of partition of India was JP Kripalani. Direct question, nothing wrong with it, nothing much to remember with respect to this question. Even if you had been with me, this question, this type of questions, we had seen many different, this type of questions had been asked in the exam. Even I remember this question was earlier asked too. So we should know these. That is why it becomes important for us that we should study very well these previous year question book. Then let us move to the last question of today's discussion. It is about the last opportunity to avoid the partition of India was lost with the rejection of Cripps mission, no. Raja Gopalacharya formula, no. Wavell plan, no. Is it cabinet mission? The last opportunity to avoid the partition of India was lost with the rejection of the cabinet mission. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option C. With this, we had completed today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it with your friends. I hope you would definitely subscribe the channel, and also please write in the comments what else should we bring for you. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.